Alright, cool.
This is how they hold us down while the throne gets colder. Hold us down while we slowly age. Hold us down while the boy gets bolder. Where in the hell is our pride and our rage? Here and now there's a chance for action. Here and now we can take control. Here and now burn it down to ashes. Channel the fire inside your soul.
Alright. Hopefully this works out.
Don't you know the prince is not around? I heard he's on a diplomatic mission, and I heard today he comes back to town. So I say we gather near.
It's already signed in though. Should be.
We wait till he arrives. Then when he docks his ship, we can breach it. Let us leave now. Today we can strike it. Hold him down.
That's fine.
Boy, stop shaking. Hold him down while I slit his throat. Hold him down while I slowly break his pride, his trust, his faith, and his bones. Hold him down to tiny pieces. Hold him down in the great below.
That's the 1, 2. Okay. Okay. Alright. Oh shit. Wait. I don't think. I think that's fine. Hopefully I didn't fuck it up. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Ah, such a good song. Alright. With that said and done, I hope everything works out. That one up because I want to make sure everything works out. Okay. I'm part of therapist. Alright. By the way, that music is pretty good. Made by Jorge Rivera Ranz. I would recommend listening to the entire saga. I love the music, especially if you're what's it called? Fuck. Musical lover. There you go. If you liked Hamilton, I think that he was extremely inspired by it, so please give it a watch. Granted, I know he doesn't need my advertisement, but actually, I love it. Hope you guys enjoy it too. Now, question is, where the fuck did I leave off? Right here. Okay. Let us begin. Alright. Yes, one too. There we go. So, where did we leave off last time? Collected notes. Oh shit.
Indeed you do. The mind is an easy place to get lost in, is it not?
Ain't nothing more to read. Alright.
You ain't kidding. Keeping all them cognitive distortions in my head and sorting through all my clients' problems ain't easy.
I don't know why exactly they're talking in the background, but
we are not machines, Samuel. I believe you will find that you
can
never handle everything.
You bitches. Alright, anyways. So.
There is a term the
oh my god.
Multitasking. It's a kind of meta-control fallacy.
Pause it.
Even we must
pause, man.
One at a time.
Not reveal text. Reveal text, yeah, that's fine. I'm guessing it's because I ended up clicking or something like that. We start talking? Okay, cool. So, where we left off last time, we learned a little bit more about cognitive distortions. Yeah, different ways to call it, but basically, yeah. There are some that I have to look into. We want to try to understand empathy and compassion, because we do want to understand what people are going through in order for them to overcome whatever they're dealing with. And this happens to all of us, including vampires, apparently. So they had Nosferatu thinking, sometimes seeing things in black and white, basically thinking of extremes and ignoring everything in between. Basically, if I break my toe, then my life is basically ruined. That kind of idea. Basically, yeah, it's just gonna end if something's gonna happen. If I recall correctly. Hopefully yeah. Control fallacy is basically the idea that we have control of everything that we do not have control over. Basically the lives of other people. So it's basically things like, oh, okay, because I ended up hurting somebody, then that means that their life is gonna be ruined. For all we know, they don't really care about what we ended up doing. Granted, it is good to take responsibility, but in this regard, we are not guaranteed to affect others as we wish to. Labeling is basically just calling people or calling ourselves a certain way to indicate who we are. Basically, if I say, oh, I'm an idiot, then I'm labeling myself as an idiot, meaning that I do not take responsibility for anything else that happens. It'll just be, oh, okay, I cannot get smarter because I am defined as an idiot. Should statements is basically something that I deal with all the time. Should. I should do this. I should stream. When that takes away some of the joy of it, and it's more along the lines of, hey, I want to stream because it'll be fun, or it'll give me a outlet. That's what should statements represent. And disqualifying the positive, which is also something that's easy to fall into, is basically saying, oh, because I ended up doing this horribly, then anything else good that I ended up doing does not go well, in a sense. So basically, if I ended up helping 20 people, for example, gave them a place to belong, and then one person says they hate me and I ruined their life, then I ignore those 20 people that I helped, and I just say, oh, I'm a failure because I couldn't save this one person. That is disqualifying the positives. So some of our clients were Dr. Drain. He was very egotistical in a sense. He is taking plasma that makes him black out and do things he says he doesn't like to do, but he needs a release. Likes a logical approach. He doesn't sleep. He's irritable, maybe because he's not sleeping. Loves should statements and maybe a fair amount of disqualifying the positive. Obsessed with work. Doesn't seem to like vampires. And next time I should figure out what the heck this plasma stuff actually does. So understanding what exactly this, how it affects him. Isabella Diat thinks her life was meaningless because modern art is meaningless too. So she's having an existential crisis. The Rise of the Spacewalker movie ended up sending her off because she's extremely high-minded. She had major issues with her former husband, which she ended up mentioning a lot about her having faith in him and shit ended up going down. I think most people are corrupt, especially menfolk. He used to be a devout Catholic, not so much anymore. Likes to be in control, maybe a lot of control fallacies, and next time I'll dig into the family stuff. Seems like there's a lot of anger there too. We have Edmund Keane, who is very full of himself. I'm just kidding. He has basically afraid of acting because he's afraid of getting anything but universal praise. He's afraid of the criticisms that come with it. He has a self-centered mindset, something that could be changed, but it's really difficult at times. Believes he determines what acting must be, so he's the definition of what acting is. He diminishes the thoughts and opinions of others. Basically, it's about him, nobody else. He is a champion gaslighter, tried to convince me I was attacking him. I calmed him down by pretending like he was a horse, and sees the world through theater. Basically, he could only make comparisons with theaters, which I get. And then the last client that we ended up meeting was Med. What is it? Medla? Medi. There you go. Medi. So she's feeling overwhelmed by her followers on social media and their demands. She relies on them for food and help dealing with mortals. Basically puts all the responsibility on other people. talks about mortals. Hey, how's your thing? Spends a lot of time online. Yeah, don't a lot of us. Creates strong one-way attachments with her followers. And needs to get outside. Bad at setting boundaries. So next time I'm gonna figure out why she's got such a simple view of myrtles. Maybe she'd be better off if she didn't see them as ants. Alright. With that said and done, that little rundown, let us continue. There's a term that mortals use these days, multitasking. It's a kind of meta control fallacy, even though we must handle thoughts one at a time.
I guess. I just hope I can concentrate on my own therapy with all this stuff bouncing around in my noggin.
I do not expect you to be an exception to the rule, my dear fellow. Let us see whether we can clear your head. I would like to introduce you to a ritual I have learned for stilling the mind.
Mindfulness.
With some kind of ancient vampire secret? Something the old ones gave you that's been lost to time? Something mortals could never imagine?
No, it's just meditation.
Ayo.
Oh.
That does not
Meditation's
make the
nice.
technique any less valuable. Now then, close your eyes. I will guide you through this process. Think of a place that brings you comfort. Where is it?
I'd have to see the woods. I always liked being in nature.
True.
Then imagine the woods and let your thoughts come to you. Be attuned to your body. Breathe, and you will be able to address your thoughts and clear your mind. Now close your eyes and begin.
Focus, stay on focus. I miss my princess. Ain't cut out for this therapy thing. He sure is a tall glass of and he sure is a tall glass of water. Alright. Press and hold. I miss farting. Kinda miss farting. Miss my princess. Ain't cut out. Okay. Then out. Let it go. Watch here. Okay. Focus. Ain't cut out for this therapy thing. Watch as breathing slows down your thoughts. Blast to clear a thought, hover over it.
I ain't cut out for this therapy thing. And it sure is a tall glass of water. I miss my princess. I kinda miss farting. Focus, Sam, focus.
Oh, like, oh. Judging myself is not great.
How are you feeling now?
Oh shit.
Yeah, all right.
I need
Fine,
to
really. All
Testing,
them
I guess.
thoughts just feel like thoughts.
Eh.
What sorts of things came up for you?
Well, I thought about my clients. I thought about all them cognitive distortions. My horse came up a lot.
Your horse?
Yeah, Princess. She was my horse back when I was alive. I
Oh
still
my
think
god.
about her every day. I can't really stop.
I understand. I have bonded with many horses in my own life, but it sounds as though the loss of Princess was particularly fraught.
Give me a second. Oh my. Open the door again. Thank you very, very much. Pero cálmate. Alright. Excuse that. Continue. Understand that? Okay.
Yeah,
Would you like to start there?
not sure I'd like it. But seeing as it's come up, maybe we should talk about what happened to her. It's got a lot to do with my old gang. I mentioned them before. The Mystic Bastards was their name. They were the gang to join if you had nothing to lose, and I had nothing to lose.
That sounds like some Nosferatu thinking, my friend.
Oh, I can see that now. But it turned out I still did have something to lose. And they took that from me to prove my loyalty. They took my princess, killed her in cold blood, and made me watch the whole thing. They made sure she saw me too.
Oh, Samuel, I'm so sorry.
I just stood there, watching her dying, with them big eyes looking at me like she knew I betrayed her. They knew what it would take to break me, and it's my fault for letting them do it.
That's a control fallacy.
But Samuel, these Mystic Bastards, it sounds as though these loyalty tests were a cruel, mechanical part of their indoctrination process. These are the actions of a cult. They had no special care for you or your princess.
Well, sure as shit worked. They knew where to hit me, and it's my fault for letting it happen.
What they did, Samuel, had little to do with you personally. You were vulnerable, and they took advantage. This is what cults do. But Samuel, you are exhibiting a cognitive distortion known as personalization. You are attributing the Mystic Bastards' actions entirely to your own supposed failings. While it is natural to grieve for your horse, holding yourself solely responsible is neither fair nor accurate.
Yep.
Hold on a sec, my head's hurting. I can't hold on to all them distortions all the time. Ain't personalization a lot like a control fallacy?
An astute observation, Samuel. Personalizations are often a form of control fallacy.
I'm going into specifics.
While control fallacies often manifest as a belief that you have more control over external events than is actually the case, personalization is a more specific tendency to believe that external events are reactions to you.
And then basically my examples earlier would be more personalization than control fallacy. Oh, actually, technically it could still work.
But let us leave control fallacies out of the picture for now. You are correct that keeping all distortions in mind at once is unrealistic. I would not interrupt your thoughts if I did not think personalization important. You are shouldering the blame for Princess's death. I can see that.
Well, if it ain't my fault, who else's is it?
The Mystic Bastards, of course. Let me put it into perspective for you. I will make a series of statements, and you help me identify the personalization distortion.
Alright, let's go.
I overslept in my coffin because I forgot to set my alarm.
Something that ends up happening, so it's nothing that you can really
I bit Crimson's neck last night and missed the vein because I was distracted. It was entirely my fault.
In this regard, you are... Yeah, because he wasn't paying attention. So, he does have control over that.
Batflix raised my subscription price again because they knew I would pay no matter what.
And this one would be a personalization because it's assuming that you have control or your actions cause external things to happen.
Well, that's the personalization. Batflix has no earthly clue who you are. They just raised their subscription prices anyway.
Just as your gang planned to isolate members from their former lives. Do you see the connection?
I guess so. I was just too stupid to see it at the time.
Ah, calling yourself stupid is what distortion?
Labeling!
Yeah, it's labeling.
Labeling.
I should have known anyway. I knew that crew was bad news. I just thought I was bad news too.
You should have known. That's another distortion of reality, Samuel.
Third statement.
Alright, fine. Should statement, whatever. So what the hell am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
Andy?
the frustration
Say
though.
nothing's ever my fault and I don't gotta know nothing?
Then
I was
what?
responsible for getting that beautiful horse killed. She trusted me, and if I'd been someone else, she wouldn't have had to die in that awful way.
I am not asking you to lie to yourself. Far from it. And I am not suggesting that you absolve yourself of all responsibility. But what would you say if a friend came to you with the same story? Would you tell them what they should have done? Would you call them stupid? You said yourself that you joined your gang because they were the gang to join if you had nothing to lose. I do not think this is a circumstance most people choose.
Yeah, I suppose.
Remember, Samuel, we are trying to reframe our thinking by clarifying these distortions. I know it may feel as though I am picking on you, but I am not. Let us forget what you should have done to make room for a different distortion. You are drawing a direct link from your emotion to the death of your horse. This is a distortion called emotional reasoning.
Alright.
I understand the guilt you feel, Samuel, but your guilt does not act on its own. This terrible thing, it did happen. And some choices you made undoubtedly created the circumstances for it to occur. You are not blameless.
Yeah.
But let us restrict your blame to what you have actually done.
I'm sorry. I get awful worked up when talking about my princess. You should have seen her, Andy. She had these eyes. She looked right into my tainted soul and still loved me.
That's right.
Understand, Samuel.
Still part of family.
We feel tremendous guilt when we fail an animal. When we look at reality, it is not to dismiss our burdens, but to process them fairly. I would like you to understand emotional reasoning so you can see how emotions color our thoughts. Please listen, and call me out when I am using emotional reasoning.
Alright.
I feel anxious. Perhaps it is the garlic naan I smell from the Indian restaurant next door.
No, because you're not actually letting your emotions control everything.
The mood in my club is somber tonight. I am sure it is a reflection of my own dark mood.
This one is putting your dark mood. It's saying that that's affecting other things, so I believe that is emotional reasoning.
That's the emotional reasoning right there.
Yep.
I don't think them folk in the club know too much about how you're feeling.
Exactly. Our emotions can feel all-encompassing, and that is purely biological. We are animals, Samuel. There is a small cluster of brain tissue at the base of the cranium that tells us we are safe or that we are about to die. The complexity of our existence is at odds with our biology, but we have the logic to recognize it.
Well, if reincarnation's a thing, I think I'd rather come back as a horse.
It is indeed a boon and a curse to have human complexity of thought.
Yep.
No kidding. If I were a horse, I'd know better than to join any cowboy gang, let alone the Mystic Bastards. I'd be happy with a bag of oats and a field to run around in.
Yee.
How did you end up with the Mystic Bastards in the first place?
Well, like I said, I didn't have much choice. Nobody would have taken me in at that point, except a hangman, maybe. I wasn't a vampire yet, so hanging didn't sound too appealing. The last job I did got my brother killed, and after that, my wife left with my daughter and I never saw him again. Can't say I blame her. I didn't have nobody. Ain't no surprise that a vampire gang would be the only people to take me in.
Aha, so that is how you turned.
Yes, sir. It wasn't pleasant. Not the candlelight and writhing bodies sort of affair you see in mortal vampire stories.
That is terrible, Samuel.
Calling
Returning is
something
never
out.
easy. How did they find you?
That job that got my brother killed, we partnered up with one of them Mystic Bastards for it. He knew where to find me.
And he knew you were vulnerable and that you had no place to go.
I've thought about that. Were they setting me up all along? Maybe. But whether they were or not, I really didn't have any place to go. I know when them wanted dead or alive posters go up, folk find dead easier and more fun. People saw me as outlaw scum when I was a kid, and there was no way they were going to be kinder knowing I was in a gang.
You know this for a fact. You are certain that no one would have any pity on you at all, that your only recourse was to join your gang?
I guess I don't actually know that no one but the bastards would have taken me in. Sounds like a cognitive distortion, huh?
Yo.
I think you see the patterns now. It may seem like pedantry, and perhaps it is, but pedantry is the search for ultimate truth.
Spoken like a true pedant.
Yeah.
It comes with being terrifyingly old. You discovered the cognitive distortion before I could point it out to you. It is a cognitive distortion similar to Nosferatu thinking, so let us put that particular distortion out of our minds for now.
Okay.
Yes, things were grim for you, but your experiences caused you to assume that there were none who would favor you with a kind eye. You were exhibiting the cognitive distortion of overgeneralization, the idea that no mortal could accept you. This clouded truth made you vulnerable to the Mystic Bastard's approach.
Damn. Maybe we went wrong, huh? I should have joined the Foreign Legion or something. Dang it, should statement.
Your mind is not a cognitive distortion shooting gallery, Samuel. Cut yourself some slack. All we seek is recognition of our distortions, not perfection and not punishment. Let us test your
There's a
ability
balance.
to recognize overgeneralization. Then I believe we will have covered enough for tonight.
Alright,
Allow me
let's
to
go.
begin. Elder vampires are insufferable. They all think they know everything.
No, there it is over there, because you're already...
Wait, ain't you an elder vampire? You don't seem like much of a know-it-all.
Yep.
That's right, Samuel. Though in all honesty, I used to be quite insufferable myself.
I think all of
I
us are.
aspire to be more patient.
Emperor, not...
Let me continue. It seems to me that being a werewolf is pretty rough.
Hey.
Vampires from Transylvania all have funny accents. I want to suck your blood. Who talks like this?
Think all is an overgeneralization.
That seems like an overgeneralization, Andy. I ain't sure any of them ever sounded like that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they all sound American these days anyway from watching bat flicks all the time.
Ayo.
Correct, Samuel. I apologize for the offensive accent. It was employed only to prove a point. Well done, Samuel. Your ability to identify cognitive distortions continues to impress.
Alright. Time to forget all of this.
But let us bring things back to you.
This game.
I do not ask you to absolve
I got this.
yourself of the things you have done. You did not have the tools to be mindful of the thought patterns that made you vulnerable to the Mystic Bastards.
Bastard.
I have seen mindfulness take root in you, though, Samuel. I hope this session has been helpful to you.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, I'm still sad. I'm still regretful about Princess. I think I'll always be. My not being mindful is what killed her. Every time I think about it, I just know I'm a terrible person who messes everything up. But I think the awareness helps.
Yeah, you're already labeling yourself as a terrible person. You are overgeneralizing. You're messing everything up. Or I'll always be, basically. Oh no, that makes sense. I think I'll always be is being regretful. But then that's rotten thinking. And then that's also the thing that we just learned. Emotional reasoning, yeah.
It does. Then please tell me what cognitive distortion you just exemplified.
Calm it down, Ebony. Love you, girl. Calm down. Good girl.
Was it emotional reasoning, overgeneralization, or personalization?
Nah. So,
I guess it was kind of all of them.
Masterful deduction, Samuel. Your sense of self-awareness is most impressive.
yep.
Remember, cognitive distortions are not a cudgel to beat yourself with.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. If we're spouting cognitive distortions all the time, ain't my clients gonna be mad at my constantly interrupting them?
You continue to impress. Yes, we cannot bully our clients with distortions. Thus, I find it is best to clear our minds and focus on a few during each session.
Okay.
Keeping endless distortions in mind is not easy for a therapist either, after all.
That makes sense.
I think we have done excellent work tonight, and I'm certain
Yeah.
you've built up a thirst. I know this evening was emotionally intense. Ask Crimson for some scotch.
No deal, Kumar.
Drinking booze ain't exactly compatible with our biology, Andy.
By scotch, I mean Scottish blood. It's high and
Hey.
rich and quite delicious. I age it in whiskey barrels.
That sounds pretty nice. I might just do that and call it an early night.
As you wish, Samuel. Rest well, and do not lasso yourself so tightly, as you say. You are deserving of love, especially from yourself.
I'm just gonna leave before I get more embarrassed.
Very well, Samuel. Rest in peace, my friend.
Do not freeze, please. Thank you.
Samuel, greetings. You are seeing Dr. Drain again tonight, yes?
Dr. Drain. Drain your blood.
That's right. I'm keen to see how he's getting on. That fella's got himself wrapped up real tight.
Do not expect too much change too quickly. It takes a while for thoughts to internalize, even when we know the truth of them logically. It took me only 2,800 years or so to internalize what I needed.
I don't think the doc's gonna be too keen to wait that long.
I do not think he will have to. Unlike myself, he has you to guide him.
Oh gosh, I barely know what I'm doing, boss. I'm not sure I can keep track of all these new distortions I know about.
I got this.
I do not expect you to. We humans are distortion machines, my friend.
Yeah, you're a vampire though. I'm just kidding.
But let us
All the
ensure we
same.
address Dr. Drain's core distortion. You know what it is, don't you?
Should seem in disqualifying
It's
positives.
disqualifying the positive, ain't it?
Dr. Drain does indeed exhibit this cognitive distortion, as we all do. But there is a distortion that truly drives his decision making. I think you can tell me what it is.
Leave your dad alone. Oh my god, Ebony. Okay. Being a big old grumpus.
I think his distortion is that he's a big old grumpus.
Ah, but that is not a distortion, is it, my friend? Indeed, he is a grumpus, as you call it. That is his reality.
His reality is being a grumpus. Perfect.
But what I am seeking is a cognitive distortion.
Nah, darn. Shit
That
statements.
fella's a should statement machine, I'll tell you what.
That's right. We can be certain he will carry this distortion with him, but I would like you to pick the rest to keep in mind, Samuel. Up until this point, you have addressed client distortions in small clusters.
Okay,
But now that you are aware of more cognitive distortions, you will notice them everywhere.
understandable.
We must not use cognitive distortions as weapons to beat our clients with. So pick 4 more to keep in mind during your session.
Okay.
But what do I do if I detect he's showing the distortions I'm putting aside?
You do not need to address all of them, my friend.
Alright.
You will not catch every distortion, and if you did, I believe your clients would find you irritating. I do not alert you to half of your cognitive distortions. We know that Dr. Drain will exhibit should statements. What else do you think he will come to this session with?
Alright. Disqualifies the positives a lot. Control. He often says that he wants to do certain things. I don't think he does labeling. I want to say emotional reading because it's a type of control fallacy. And I don't know if he's going to have Nosferatu thinking. I think he might overgeneralize. Then personalization would kind of work as well. Because I don't think he sees it black and white. I don't remember that from him. He doesn't really label himself a certain way. He does do the all or nothing kind of thing, but I don't really. I feel like that's more emotional reasoning that he does. So maybe personalization would be the other one.
I think I've got what I need now.
Very good, Samuel.
Okay.
I will leave you to it. Have confidence. It is well earned.
Just do our best. We've got
I
this.
just gotta believe you. All right, Andy, I'll do my best.
I know you will. I will see you after your session.
I think I'm ready, and here comes the man himself.
All right, let's go. It's a bat.
Dr. Drain, good to see you again.
Yes, well, I wish I could say the same. I have not had the most productive month.
Back on this productive wagon, huh? Last time we were talking about all them should statements.
Yes, exactly. And what a waste of time that was. I took what we spoke about to heart, you know, like a fool. But the should statements, as you so tritely put them, were the only thing holding me together. You ignored the addiction problem I came to you with. Nay, worse, you told me it was fine. And oh, how eager I was to test that theory. I have partaken of my awful plasma almost every night. I am more monster than man now.
Sounds to me
I
like
don't
we
have
could
the
be
thing
having
for
a
that.
fruitful conversation about moderation.
I have a better idea. Seeing as you do not understand the gravity of the situation, I will make you understand. This is the plasma I've spoken of. Pure vampiric essence. I will show you how should statements are the remnants of our humanity. We should not be so quick to cast them away.
I believe that would be more so, not should. I think it's emotional reasoning. Because he's talking about his emotions and using that, how it affects everything else.
Dr. Drain is assigning himself quite an imperative. But whence came this imperative, Samuel?
This is the plasma I've spoken of. Pure vampiric essence. I will show you how should statements are the remnants of our humanity. We should not be so quick to cast them away.
Hey. This plasma I've spoken of, pure vampiric essence, I will show you how should statements are the remnants of our humanity. We should not be so quick. Would it still be considered? I guess it's still should statement.
I agree with you that should statements are human, but that don't make them universal. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
lots of ways to live, Doc.
That is exactly the problem, Sam. We don't live. And this is the result most dire. Witness the wages of our sin.
Now hold on a sec, Doc. I think we better...
The time for caution is over. Goodbye, Sam.
What in hell?
Does it feel good to be alive? And who are you, darling?
Lord Luridus.
I'm Sam. I'm your therapist, Doc. You know that.
Oh god, it's a Jekyll and Hyde moment.
My therapist! Oh, how wonderful. How absolutely pathetic. A vampire therapist.
Hey.
Oh, what a sad, pathetic waste you are, Dr. Drain.
Dick to himself. But anyways, yay! They mentioned the name of the game. Fuck. Alright.
Allow
There,
me
I
to
don't be quiet now.
introduce myself, then. I am Lord Luridus, and unlike that sad sack of quivering shit you've been talking to, I am a vampire. I kill, I drink, I fuck, and I'm dead sexy.
Now, this guy is egotistical. Respect.
Weren't you wearing glasses before? I don't need glasses. Reading is what people do when they can't find anyone to fuck, which is not a problem I face. Oh, you're missing out, fella. I got into reading after I died, and there's whole worlds to discover in books.
Yeah, you gotta find the right ones though.
Oh, you're so fucking boring.
Thank you.
There's a whole world to discover up my ass as well.
Well, you don't have to be so crass.
Yes, I see it in your eyes. You're afraid, aren't you, American? Your Puritan blood chills at the sight of me. Maybe I'll warm it up before I drain it from you and turn you into a husk with a stupid hat.
I wouldn't try it.
I'm not you, though, am I? And I am always hungry.
I suggest you stay right where you are.
A vampire with a gun? Oh, how our kind have fallen. What are you going to do, cowboy? Kill me?
I'm gonna kill you with kindness.
But I can make sure the next few months ain't fun for you.
Oh, how very kind of you to care about me, darling. It'll be our dear Dr. Drain who suffers. But I need the little worm for now, so I suppose I'll let you live.
Mighty kind of you. Now you just settle on down and we're gonna have a chat.
Ugh, talking. We are animals. We are not meant for talking. But very well. At least give me something to drink. I can rely on your piteous human blood to do me that kindness, yes? All right, but I'm watching you, hombre. Look all you like. The show is free. This is better than the swill I usually prefer. I'm more of a quantity over quality sort of creature.
Yeah, I know your kind. I used to be a lot like you.
And I suppose now you are just as repressed as the sad creature that exerts control over this luscious body of mine.
I'm more free than I've ever been, but don't you worry about me. Let's talk about you.
Yee.
You're going to psychoanalyze me. I live according to my nature. You might as well interview a lion.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I'm sure you are the way you are for a reason.
You're not wrong about that. You know the answer already. Dr. Drain needs me. I am what is missing in his unlife.
Emotional reasoning? Qualifying the positives, personalization. Personalization, I think.
You think this is all about you, but you're damn wrong. It's about Dr. Drain.
Yeah.
Please. The man could die. Has died. And it hasn't made a damn bit of difference to anyone. Without me, he barely even has an existence. Poor fool. His penis was nearly mummified when I got hold of it.
Okay, that's gross, and also wrong. Dr. Drain existed long before you did.
Yep.
If you call that an existence, I am his hidden strength. I am his true essence. He is nothing without me, which he already realizes.
That disqualifying the positives because it's only limiting one. Because it could also technically be personalization. I'm gonna go disqualifying the positives. I might be wrong about this one.
But you're forgetting something. A lot
Yep.
of who you are is
Okay.
because of Dr. Drain.
That's right.
You know
Woo!
that fella denies himself a lot,
Hell
and you
yeah.
do all them things he refrains from.
Yeah, mainly just because when he was talking about it, it's just he's talking about the absolute. His life is horrible. I'm not talking about the good aspects of his life.
Besides, didn't he make that plasma you sprung from?
Do you know, you're absolutely correct. Very well. I'll give the little twerp his credit. He did bring me into existence, and what a wonderful existence it is. Were you aware that vampires possess absolutely no gag reflex? I can prove it.
Well, you know.
I don't mess with my clients.
But I'm not your client. That little rat man in tweed is. Of course he would deny himself the pleasure. You hear him talk about what he should do, but the sad creature cannot do those things. He should give in to me, and thanks to you, he has begun to.
Come on now, you're really countering his shoulds with your shoulds? I think that proves there ain't no such thing as a should everyone agrees on.
Yeah, give it.
But my shoulds are so much more entertaining. His have only bred him hundreds of years of pathetic existence.
Well, that don't make a damn bit of difference. I bet there are vampires a hell of a lot more depraved than you who think you should be doing things differently.
Really? Oh,
I know,
must
exactly.
introduce me. If there are holes I don't know about, I should very much like to know where they are.
How old are you anyway?
Dr. Drain's been summoning me for 14 years now.
Well, things are starting to make a lot more sense. You certainly sound like a 14-year-old.
The vampire going through puberty.
Transformation has already begun. I will subsume him. His body and his mind will belong to me completely, and Dr. Drain will cease to be.
Control fallacy. Mainly because he's already saying that there's no way for him to change those control fallacy.
You're awful confident about that. But I got bad news for you. You don't control Dr. Drain. He controls you.
Oh, darling. The little doctor controls nothing at all, least of all himself. Make no mistake. He shall be mine.
Oh, yeah? And how do you know that?
I did all of them except emotional reading so far.
I know the little wretch far better than you do. He hasn't changed in centuries.
Was he in therapy then?
No, only in the modern age do we make do with such delusional exercises.
So not
Illusional.
everything he does is predictable. I don't think you got a good reason to be so confident.
Are you trying to fill my head with doubts? Do you even think that such a thing is possible? There is no such thing as doubt for beings such as we. We live or we die. That's all. And I will live.
I notice a funny way you and Dr. Drain talk about each other, as though you're totally different people. You really think that's true?
Have you spoken with our pathetic little doctor? You know, he doesn't drink real blood. That's why he's so weak.
Hold on, how's he even alive if he's not drinking blood?
Oh, the little ball of shame didn't tell you. He's not even a vampire. He drinks that synthetic trash he produces instead of real blood.
So it's qualifying the positives of what that does, if I recall correctly. Because he's not talking about control. Emotional reasoning, I don't think that is. Personalization feels like that might be the case. Yeah, but he's already saying that it's trash. So he's disqualifying the positive of it.
Discount everything about Dr. Drain just because he doesn't drink fresh blood. The guy's managed to live for 430 years. He's got to be doing something right.
Okay.
Besides,
I did it a
let's say
different way.
you get your wish and everyone just becomes vampire food. Where are you gonna get blood when everyone's dead?
Well, you raise a valid point. Perhaps I'll start a mortal farm. Yes, that's it. They'll walk on all fours and be completely naked at all times.
Kinky.
I'll milk them each day and raise stud mortals.
What?
Oh, this has possibilities. Why, thank you, darling. Brilliance can come from such unlikely places.
Oh, dang, I wish I hadn't mentioned it.
Why so shy, darling? You must have more experience than the dear doctor. I wouldn't be surprised if you were a 400-year-old virgin. If it weren't for me, his cock would have shriveled up like a raisin.
I think I'm gonna surprise you, Lord, whatever you're calling yourself, but I think you're right. Dr. Drain does need you. But like it or not, you need him too.
How very bloody dare
Wow.
you? What possible use could I have for a little turd like him? I am an animal, pure and perfect. I don't care what anyone thinks of me.
Vampires ain't animals, not even the worst of us. The moment we learned to talk and reason, living like beasts was out the window.
What a strange creature you are. You dress like a buffoon, but speak like a philosopher. The buffoon is the more admirable of the two. At least he's honest. You and Dr. Drain lie and lie and lie to justify your existence. It's ridiculous to suggest that I need him. What could I possibly need him for? When I tire, I sleep. When I lust, I fuck. When I thirst, I kill. As it should be.
Do it again.
Again, that simple thinking and them shoulds that are only yours. Come the hell on. You think we vampires should just go on autopilot? Fuck, sleep, kill, repeat?
Well, naturally, we should ensure that those things are fun. Otherwise, what's the point in doing them?
That's it right there. I agree with you entirely.
About time. I'll remove my clothing then. Or perhaps I'll remove yours.
Not so fast. You're missing the point. If we're doing these things because they're fun, well, everybody's got their own idea of fun. That's our human experience at work. Like me, for instance. I'm more of a high intimacy kind of lover.
Oh, boff. You managed to make even delightful things seem so heinous.
I'm only speaking the truth. What makes you so damn sure you know what being a vampire is anyway? Why do you think you've got it all figured out?
Lie to yourself all you like, darling. We're all alike. I know what you crave. Oh, that poor mortal had a family. Who gives a damn? I'm thirsty. That poor mortal must consume in order to live, and so must I. He simply pretends not to enjoy it. I don't need to do any such thing. I love to kill. I love the taste of blood. Why would I love it if it weren't the only way to live?
Emotional reasoning, because he's talking about his love of certain things, but that doesn't define what it exactly entails, I suppose.
Okay, what you're doing there is interpreting reality based on how you
Yep.
feel. Well, that's emotional reasoning. You think because you love killing, killing is the only way to live. if you had a clear head, maybe you'd be able to see that ain't true.
Oh, why, darling, if you wish to see me pleasure myself, all you had to do was ask.
That ain't what I'm saying, and you know it. I get all the blood I need without having to kill folks. Point is, you're gonna get real fucking bored if you don't find a reason to do what you're doing.
Do you think I need a purpose? That's a mortal concern. I don't need a fucking legacy. I need blood. The only thing I should do is what I was made to do.
Should again.
You're just as bad as Dr. Drain with all them should statements. He keeps talking about what he shouldn't do, and you keep talking about what you should do. You both act so damn sure of yourselves. You're so damn sure blood is all you need.
Oh, did I forget to mention all the fucking?
No, but hombre, you live forever. Food and sex is enough for animals. They got short lives. They get threatened and they die real quick. I know a lot of vampires who live like animals, and every single one of them is lost. Like him or not, Dr. Drain is your reason for living. Hell, if he didn't make this plasma stuff, you'd still be buried deep somewhere in his head.
Fuck you. Dr. Drain is a pathetic little liar, and I will destroy him. That's what he wants. Then I'll come for you.
If you're gonna kill me, you'd better be a quicker draw than I am. You wanna try your luck, compadre?
No need. I do thirst, though, and I smell something downstairs. I smell mortals and virgins. Oh, how delicious. You've been holding out on me, cowboy.
You can drink what's in that bottle till Dr. Drain comes back. I ain't letting the likes of you near them people.
At least you're aware enough to know that I am a ravenous beast.
Good labeling yourself.
And beast that I am, I must kill.
You will do no such thing to my mortals. Restrain yourself.
Oh, now who is this beautiful morsel?
I am far older than any blood you have ever tasted, whelp. Do not dare to think you can overpower me.
Don't threaten me with a good time, daddy.
I will keep this poor animal contained, Samuel. You did excellent work in handling him. Deserve some rest. I will meet with you later.
That's what I'm really gonna do.
Do not worry. I have no need to hurt him.
Well, now I'm just disappointed.
All right, Andy. I'll talk to you later. And Lord Lurid, or whatever your name is, think about what we talked about, huh? Dr. Drain's got something you need.
Oh, Vom, get out of here already.
Not you two.
Just a heavy moment.
Tornation. Barely walked out of that one alive. And I thought therapy was just talking. I could use a drink.
If it isn't the Lone Ranger.
Hey, Crimson.
Crimson.
You look a little down, cowboy. Have a shot.
I don't mind if I do.
Rough one tonight.
You could say that. My client went a little feral. Tried to attack me.
That ain't good. I hope you booted their ass out.
Well, here's the thing. He wasn't himself. The fella, he can't stand being a vampire, so the vampire comes out in nasty ways.
Don't put yourself into too much danger, cowboy. Cleaning up a pile of ashes isn't my idea of a good night.
Takamaru, away from there. Takamaru. You're not leaving. Ay. Sweet pupper. Oh my god. You're not leaving, boy. Stay in here. Get some sleep. Okay? Rest. Get some sleep. Wait, leave him upstairs. Hey, hey.
So what? He just went and turned into a monster?
Yes.
More or less. Went from a restrained fella to a hedonist beast.
How do you think you handled it?
Pretty well.
I think I did all right.
Have to have that
I've got
confidence.
A bunch of cognitive distortions now, so I was still able to challenge the beast. Well, the way I figure it, he's still desperate for help, even if he doesn't act like it.
I can see why Andy likes you. A heart's still beating in there.
I'm a creature of the night, too. I just want to help my kin.
People like talking to you, cowboy. They can't help sharing their lives with you. Whatever it is about you, folks are always going to prefer talking to you over killing you.
I surely do hope you're right.
That's a hope.
You know my big secret already. I wouldn't have told it to you if I didn't believe in you.
No.
Well, that's mighty kind of you, Crimson. I'm humbled.
Quit it with the aw shucks stuff. Now you're just trying to be cute.
And making success visit.
Oh, hey, it's my little buddies. How's it going, kids?
Bad.
I'm sorry to hear that, Maxie. What's going on?
Make some room, Kinder. I've got customers to serve. Go talk in the kink room.
Would you like to chat in the kink room, Maxie?
I would like that very much.
So what's going on, Maxie?
My boss yelled at me today and made me sad.
Well, what happened?
Someone injected a malicious SQL query into our API and used it to execute code. We did not have our queries parameterized, so they were able to drop the user table entirely.
I'll pretend like I
I
understand.
warned the back-end developers that this would happen, but I got all of the blame.
That sounds like a real mess, Maxie. Reminds me of the time I forgot to lock the gate on a cattle drive. By morning, every last cow was gone, just like your user table thing. Maybe your boss was hopping mad, but I bet next time they'll listen to you.
Am I the only one who is now aroused?
No, Reinhardt, I am also aroused.
Oh my god.
Okay, get on over here and pass me some neck.
Is it in yet?
I'm just getting ready.
Oh, I forgot. Wait, was it supposed to be in the blue?
I feel as though all my worries have been sucked away.
I am well acquainted with this feeling, Hazi.
I forgot.
And you will be once more.
I think that's my cue to get to my coffin.
You scared the American away, Maxie.
I suppose I am a very bad girl.
All right, I'm out. Bedtime for Sam. I'll see you kids later.
Alright. Alright. Round 2.
Samuel, greetings.
Oh, hey, Andy.
What is wrong, my friend? You don't seem your chipper American self.
I guess I ain't too happy to be seeing tonight's client. I'm still feeling the tongue lashing she gave me last time.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, the Senora d'Este. She certainly has a way with words.
It ain't that. It's just this sense I get. Like she thinks I can be a certain way just because she tells me to.
Aha. At least that makes her chord distortion clear, doesn't it? You know what it is, of course.
Control found. Labeling. Labeling!
Well, it's labeling. She was calling me all sorts of names.
Do not take her insults personally, my friend. She already warms to you. I can see it.
Well, I'd hate to see her getting cold on me.
Come now, Samuel. What distortion brings Senora d'Este the most stress?
Control.
That lady's got control fallacies out the wazoo, and they've given her centuries of stress.
I do not know this term, wazoo, but you are correct. The woman who chooses immortality so that she can ensure her family makes the correct decisions probably has some control issues.
And taking out her stress on me.
Do not take her criticisms too much to heart, my friend. You are simply a convenient target. an element within her control.
That still don't make it much fun.
I will not deny that Signora d'Este is a confrontational client, but take her presence as a gift, however you can. A woman so powerful in her time has much to teach us. You have all the tools you need at your disposal to help her. Consider your approach.
Okay. The control fallacy is the one that she deals with the most. I think emotional reasoning based off of what I'm understanding about her. The fact that she feels like all men and everybody's basically acting the same. Or, yeah. I know labeling would be a good one. Last time I don't think she ever disqualified the positives. I do feel like she overgeneralizes because she thinks all of a certain group is the same, or all what's it called? Art should be a certain way. Nosferatu thinking. Okay, so I'm either thinking Nosferatu thinking, seeing things in black and white. I don't think she personalizes. Should statements is a possibility. I think it's how things should be, how things should become. Let's go for should statements. Yeah.
All right, I think I'm ready.
Alright. Nakamaru, you already know. Away from the door. I know you're over there, little one. Away from the door. Okay.
I will leave you to meditate then. Be well, Samuel, and let this 3,000-year-old tell you, you are a fantastic therapist.
No, thank you, Eddie.
Oh gosh, you're gonna make me blush. Get on out of here, boss. I can handle this.
Yeah, kid.
I know you can.
Now I think I'm ready. And here she comes. A deep breath. Howdy, Senora. Nice to see you again.
Liar. You are as pleased to see me as I am to see you, therapist.
We're gonna get straight into it, huh? All right, lay it on me. Why ain't you happy to see me?
Because you are a worm.
Yeah, I've been called a lot worse. You're gonna need to be more specific than that, Senora.
Yeah,
You are a worm because of the way you wriggled into my mind the last time we spoke, leaving behind loathsome doubts. The only reason I am here is to confront you for your beastly behavior. I come to you in crisis, and you suggest that I am the cause of my own woe. Aren't you supposed to help me?
Senora, you came in here telling me that Art is dead. How am I supposed to help you with that?
I don't know. But telling me that my existence has been a complete waste of time is not comforting.
I definitely don't remember saying that, Senora. What I said is that you ain't gonna change the world for anyone, but that doesn't mean your work wasn't worth anything. That's what I call...
Nosferatu thinking? Control fallacy.
That's what I call a control fallacy. Senora, you're one person. One powerful, intelligent, and talented person, but one out of billions. You can't expect to reach everyone. Doesn't matter how good the art you produce is. It ain't gonna help a fellow like me who grew up without ever having heard the name Michelangelo.
Michelangelo? Who is Michelangelo?
Who is Michelangelo indeed? What's that one? What's it called? Dang it, what was it called again? Multi-chat? Excuse me real quick. Forgot what it was. Nah, whatever. I'll look into it in a bit. Or can I? Oh, there it is. Damn it. I want that one. Away from there, you bastard. Yeah, you mother. I mean, you thing. that I struggle with calling stuff. That's been fine. I don't know why that's removed. Okay. You have to remember to just have those two out just in case. No problem. Excuse a little blip of things. Okay, let's go that way. Perfect. Michelangelo, who's Michelangelo?
The guy what painted the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo.
Michelangelo did no such thing. Perhaps you are thinking of a man from New Jersey, or a turtle. It is Michelangelo.
Michelangelo.
Signora, you want to talk about wasting time? What's using me as a punching bag doing for you?
Very well. I will speak plainly. I am angry with you, Mr. Walls.
Fine.
Yes, perhaps not all I did was a waste of time, effort, and pain, but to think that much of it was. This is most horrifying.
Much of it was, that would be more so overgeneralization? Because it's already assuming that much of it was. Unless you're letting the emotional reasoning, just her fear, is what dictates how everything else works. I want to say overgeneralization. No.
Listen carefully, Samuel. It is not only truth that harms the Senora, but also the way she perceives truth.
And the truth be based off of emotional reasoning.
Yes,
So yeah.
perhaps not.
Ah, damn.
Listen carefully, Samuel.
Ah,
It
alright.
is not only truth that harms the Senora.
Yes, perhaps not all I did was a waste of time, effort, and pain, but to think that much of it was. This is most horrifying.
Listen carefully, Samuel.
Labeling?
It is not only
Oh my
truth
god, how am I
that
doing
harms
so bad on this one?
Perhaps
I
not
should.
all I did was a waste of time, effort, and pain, but to think that much of it was. This is most horrifying.
Maybe it'd help if we looked at that wording you used. A waste of time,
Oh.
effort, and pain.
Ah, makes sense. Damn. Alright. I didn't delve that deeply into it.
Even if you didn't achieve your goals in them efforts, you can't just say they were a waste of time. Now, if you were sitting in bed for 400 years watching bad TV, then I might agree with you.
A disgusting notion. I am already dead. I do not need my mind to actively decompose by watching Batflix's latest trash.
So maybe let's reserve waste of time for trash, huh?
Yeah.
I can see why it'd be upsetting to see something you put a lot of effort into not work out.
It is more than upsetting. It is devastating. I did not just fail to bring the understanding of true beauty into the world, I failed to bring it to my own familia. I watched them die, Mr. Walls. It was not the physical death that caused me the greatest pain, but the spiritual death. They had no care for the Gonzaga name nor the D'Este name. Despite my sacrifice and all my efforts, they pissed away my legacy.
Oh boy, sounds like there's a lot to unpack here.
It is a dark and painful story, Mr. Walls. A story where my greatest joy turns to ash, and I was powerless to stop it. When last we met, did I tell you about my son?
No, I don't think so.
Federico. Ah, my dear Federico, my little clown, my delicate artist, my beautiful boy. I suffered for him, Mr. Walls. I put up with my husband, Frankie, and all his brutishness, all his licentiousness. All for Federico. I raised him to be intelligent and clever, to understand the gentle arts and philosophy. I raised him to be a D'Este. But for all my efforts, I could not cool his Gonzaga blood, and it persisted for a century to the ruin of our house.
Overgeneralization, because all efforts. But then again, it's talking about the Gonzaga blood. assuming that emotional reasoning is what consisted. But she's talking about his, which means that it's not so much. Because the other thing could be labeling, because it's talking about the Gonzaga blood defining them. I'll go label.
I know great powers, Samuel, but power over blood, that I shall never have. And there are none who can.
But for all my efforts,
That
I know great
Oh my
powers,
God.
Samuel, but power over blood, that I shall never have.
I do
There are
not.
none who can.
but for all my efforts, I could not cool his Gonzaga blood.
Oh my
great
god.
powers,
Why is it with her that I'm
For all my
failing
efforts,
miserably? I think I did
could
the same
not
thing
cool
last
his
time.
Gonzaga blood.
I hate to break it to you, senor, but every
good
kid's
call.
got two parents, whether they know them or not. And kids have got minds of their own.
Yep.
I refuse to believe that we are trapped by our blood. What was my destiny as a girl? Men of my time said it was to be servile and docile, a political pawn. What saved me from that fate? Knowledge, study, an appreciation of art, music, history, and literature.
Yep. Sorry about that.
In the same way, I should have been able to save my son.
Should
Why
say.
do you think you should have been able to save your son?
I was his mother. If I did not save him, who could?
I'm not saying someone else could. I'm saying that responsibility to save your son, that you should save him, doesn't line up with the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't some kind of destiny for one person to save another.
Yeah.
Clearly, it was not my destiny to save my son. But my failure did not end with my darling Federico. I was only 153 when the once great Gonzaga house surrendered all its honor to the hated Spanish. I stood by, useless as a statue, as the Gonzaga name burned in the war of the Mantuan succession.
Okay. Talking of war.
What's this War of the Mantuan Succession all about?
Do you know nothing of history at all? Oh, very well. It all began because my fool of a great-great-grandson, Vincenzo II, did not listen to me. Instead of dutifully procreating with his wife, he decided to impregnate mistresses. When he ate himself into the grave, the line of succession was broken, and the French and Spanish swarmed upon my home like cockroaches. I killed a great many of them myself, but it was not enough. Eventually, the Gonzaga lands were given away to both countries. Of course, this is common knowledge. I would have had your tutors beaten.
Senora, the only tutors I ever had showed up after eating a can of baked beans.
Hey.
Disgusting.
The hated Spanish? You say that like everyone hates the Spanish.
Must I mince words with my therapist? Naturally, I do not include the Spanish among those who hate the Spanish.
I don't hate the Spanish. I've known plenty of fine Spaniards.
I doubt you know much about fine company, but your pedantic point stands. Not all hate the Spanish. Very well. From now on, I shall say the Spanish, who are hated by myself and sensible persons.
Oh, we can talk more about the Spanish later. So wait, there's a whole ass war going on and you're supposed to stop it? How's that work?
I gave up my humanity to guide my familia through the ages. If I could not do that, what was the point of becoming undead?
My familia to the ages. If I could not do that, what was the point of becoming undead or generalizing? Not labeling. Control. Falling down the overgeneralization. It might be control just because it's saying that if she couldn't do that, then it's already giving little.
Senor, being a vampire gives us a lot of powers, but it doesn't give us the power to control a single human being, let alone a whole dynasty of them.
Yeah.
When the heck have we ever listened to our betters? I ain't no historian, but I know
realize
enough to
that
know
hers was
people are
gonna be a
liable to
lot of
making the
control
same
fallacies.
mistakes over and over again.
Though they basically hand Anyways,
Humans have got that whole pesky free will thing that makes them do dumb things.
Perhaps you are correct. Stupidity is inevitable. I understand what you are trying to do, Mr. Walls.
What am I trying to do, Senora?
You are trying to tell me that I've been living a lie for more than 400 years.
yes.
I ain't doing anything like that, Senora.
Do not fret, peasant. We are in agreement. I have been living a lie. We all have. As I told you last time, I know my own foolishness. But time has not made my mortal concerns fade. In my mind, I know that virtue, love, chastity, wisdom, honor, these kinds of words were created by men to make us supplicant. But, fool that I am, I still love the idea of virtue. I have loved it ever since I was a child.
That's emotional reasoning? No, you're labeling yourself as a fool.
It ain't foolish to have ideals, Senora. Wanting to better ourselves is maybe the thing that makes us human.
Perhaps, but whose better do we strive toward? That I follow the better of old perverts is what makes me foolish.
Senora, people have been following the ideals of old perverts for thousands of years. Why are you a fool?
Do not mistake, Mr. Walls. We are all fools.
Okay, yeah,
Oh, well, that's better then.
Mind your tone. I will tolerate a fool, but not an impertinent one. As I was saying, my folly was to fall in love with these ideals as a child. I used to love all the tales of Roman mythology. I saw myself in all the goddesses. I saw my strength and chastity in Diana. In Minerva, my wisdom. In Venus, I saw my timeless beauty and romantic nature.
Romantic nature.
Romantic nature? What a wretched parrot I hear. Do not look at me so. Yes, I was a romantic. Until reality came crashing down upon me. Look at this painting I had commissioned.
What am I looking at? I don't know much about art.
The figures standing upon the arch are Venus and Mars. Mars is portrayed by my idiot husband, Frankie. Beside him, I stand as Venus.
Nakamaru. Stop trying to escape, little one.
Oh, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be looking.
You may appreciate my beauty, peasant, but do not let your eyes linger upon my once supple body overlong. This is art, not pornography.
Move away, Nakamaru. Hey. Not leaving. Stay in here. Apologize, my apologies. My elderly pupper wants to escape. He wants to be free from my chatted nature, I suppose. No, just kidding.
But look closer and you will see that even this art is a lie. This is the dream of a foolish girl. To be enjoined in pure romantic love with a handsome warrior. I believed so hard, Mr. Walls, that I thought I could make it true.
Put that on.
But this handsome man is not Frankie. This is Frankie. He is not Mars, but Vulcan.
Well, he's got some abs. I'll give him that.
Heyo.
Yes, I did not shy from truth. But see how love's aim goes amiss and strikes his gangrenous penis rather than his heart. See the grapes behind him, for the drunkard is never far from his true love. See how he flails helplessly, as if begging a true warrior to put a sword in his belly.
I'm sensing we've got some work to do around your husband.
Whatever gave you that impression? The man was created solely to crush my view of the world and my place in it. Naturally, I might have some issues around him. I now believe that Frankie was the truest man I ever met. That is what broke my heart. I maintained the illusion that he was my Mars because that is what I needed. I was not ready to face the truth. Oh, but I knew. Even as a 15-year-old girl, I knew. But I could not accept that I was married to the legendary penetrator of Mantua. Is it any wonder that I prefer the lie of Virtu? Is it any wonder that I still prefer to believe it?
Okay.
Problem is men. You are all weak animals who would give up your dignity for an evening in the company of Lucrezia Borgia.
Hold your horses there, Senora. I don't even know who the heck Lucretia Borgia is.
She is the inventor of twerking. All men flock to her, as I'm sure you would.
Okay. I didn't know that.
They say
I
she
did
was
not know that.
blonde, but she looked like a redhead to me. You know what they say about redheads. Kissed by Lucifer.
Dang, Senora. Your overgeneralizations are building up and making you see whole groups of folks as awful. Now, I know you got your reasons for feeling the way that you do, real personal ones, but recognize where your experience is making you narrow your thinking. I mean, Senora, I'll be straight with you, as you're a tough lady. Here's where I think it's coming from.
Comparing people to gods. You're just being real now.
You're comparing people to gods, including yourself, and everyone's failing that test. Frankie weren't never gonna be Mars. You weren't never gonna be Venus. You weren't born out of no shell.
And you will never be anything but a peasant.
Heck, Senora, I'll be as surprised as anyone if I get invited to a high society dinner. I can tell I'm hitting a sore spot, but maybe that means that's what we've got to focus on.
I do not like you, Sam Walls. But you are correct. I betray my own purity of spirit with my anger. But I say, why should we not aim to be like the gods? Humanity is not worth preserving when we are such petty creatures.
Senora, humanity is all we got. Even if we're immortal, every word we're speaking is a result of our humanity. Yeah, we make a lot of mistakes, and some of us sound like peasants, but all that messiness is worth something. It makes us who we are. Senora, I don't think you're a goddess. I think you're way more interesting and impressive, because you're real.
Stop. Leave your dad alone. Okay. Leave your dad alone. He didn't do anything.
Well, you have great wisdom for a peasant, Sam. And your kerchief is a fetching shade of red that matches your eyes.
Well, thanks, Senora. Let's focus on you, though. What happens if you're not that perfect goddess?
I suppose I have always felt that if I could not live to my ideals, I would be left with nothing. I would be discarded like Frankie's mistresses and die of some sex disease. Oh, Mr. Walls, I know you speak the truth. I wielded great strength in an age where women were not respected. But I alone feel the weight of my family's collapse, so I feel responsible for it.
Emotional
I
reading.
know it's a lot to bear, Senora, but that weight you're carrying doesn't
about
mean
her
you're the one
feelings.
destined to carry the weight. You get what I'm saying?
This sounds like some of that excellent peasant wisdom of yours. Please explain.
What
Peasant
I'm
wisdom.
saying is that feeling you've got doesn't create truth. You feel that you have ultimate responsibility for your family, but that feeling doesn't make it so.
Yes, I see. No one gave me this responsibility other than myself.
Correct, Mundo.
That's exactly it, Senora.
But I was the only person capable of preserving my family, Sam. That is what makes my failure so poignant.
Control fallacy.
Senora,
They're talking about the
what if you
control.
weren't the only person capable of preserving your family? What if no one person was?
I don't know. I never considered such a thing.
Well, try to consider it now. What if you accepted that whatever was going to happen to your family was going to happen?
You sound like a Calvinist.
Never mind with the labeling for now. How would you feel if you knew nobody can control what happened to the Gonzaga house?
I think I would feel relieved.
Senora, whatever happened to your family, fault never belonged to you. You were the one who named yourself responsible. No one else did. Look at who you are. and I think you can be damned impressed at who that lady is.
Yeah. You peasant.
Damn you.
Too late, Senora. Look, let's wrap up tonight, huh? I think you did great. You probably got some stuff to think about.
Yes. Thank you, Sam. I will see you in a month.
Of course, Senora. I'm looking forward to it.
Goodbye, Sam.
Samuel.
I feel miserably with her. But...
admirer.
Oh, shucks.
I think Isabella d'Este has liked fewer than 5 people in her hundreds of years of existence, and you are one of them. Remember, though, that romantic entanglements between a therapist and client are absolutely forbidden, in case you are tempted.
Come on now, Andy. I ain't gonna do anything like that.
Of course, should the mind wander into fantasy, that is entirely acceptable.
Oh, you're just messing with me now.
I could not help it. It's rather cute. The First Lady of the Renaissance and humble cowboy Samuel Walls. Quite a picture, isn't it?
Even therapists, they're shit people.
Okay, that's it. I'm getting a drink.
I'm sorry, Samuel. Please, drink. Ask Crimson for the Royal Virgin. It's my very best. I think you deserve it.
No.
Yeah, whatever. You have a good night, Andy.
Rest in peace, Samuel.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Loving it.
And I thought I had family problems. I need me a Crimson special after that one. Howdy, Crimson. Think you could fashion me up one of them blood cocktails?
I reckon so. Got a lot on your mind tonight, cowboy.
Yeah, just thinking about family stuff. I got this client who's got some real tough family issues to go through, and it got me thinking about my own. Or my lack of family, at least.
You got any family left?
I've got a great granddaughter kicking around apparently, but she's got no connection to this old cowpoke. Not sure what she'd say if a man dressed like a cowboy introduced himself as her vampire relative from the 1800s.
I see your point. Sounds like you don't have many family problems then.
I reckon so. Family means a lot to my client, though. I hope my perspective's still useful.
Yep.
How do you think she's handling her therapy so far?
She's doing pretty well.
I think she's doing pretty well, honestly. She spent a long time judging herself by her family's achievements, but I think she's starting to recognize the fruitlessness in that.
I do not need my controller. Disconnect that. Don't know why I still have it on. Go. Okay. Better. Better. Better.
Seems like you don't need her family to be able to give her some hope.
No.
I suppose not. Rich family problems were never going to be my specialty anyway. You got family back home, Crimson?
Yeah, I've got some family. We don't talk too much. I went a little wild after I got my diagnosis. They're not too fond of my lifestyle choices, but hey, at least I'm alive. And I get to hear them gossiping about how I don't age.
Well,
Yeah,
you chose a
family.
good age to stop getting older. I often wish I weren't such a dusty old corpse, but death comes when it comes.
Sometimes he's still waiting for me to give him an opening.
Death always is. Pardon me for asking, but is there a reason you're choosing not to be a vampire?
There is, but I'm not talking about it tonight. A little mystery makes life a bit spicier, don't you think, cowboy?
Oh, I wasn't trying to pry or nothing.
Bullshit. I know you're curious. Here, consolation prize.
What is it?
Black Widow. Black stuff's just food coloring. Figured you were in the mood for a scary lady tonight.
Yo.
Thank you kindly, ma'am. Think I'll take this to my coffin for a quiet night.
You do that, honey. And don't spill in Andy's coffin. He'll act like he's not mad, but you know he's mad.
Why should I be upset? What has happened has happened.
Not bad, cowboy. Get the hell out of here.
Okay, I'm going. See you later, Crimson. There we are. Gotta get me one of these fancy coffins for back home. Now, let's see. What am I in the mood for?
Alright.
I think I'm either gonna find a passage from Little Women that suits me, or I'm gonna watch Shemp get smacked in the head with a hot iron. Or I'm going to bed.
I'd say reading this time. God.
I can always turn to the Outcuts in my times of doubt. Somehow they got above it all and started exploring humanity. Now, where was that line? All right, here in Chapter 8. I am angry nearly every day of my life, Joe, but I have learned not to show it, and I still hope to learn not to feel it, though it may take me another 40 years to do so. Yeah, that sounds like the Senora. Hope she doesn't have to wait too much longer, and that I'm not making it worse. Well, that's enough fun for one day. Good night, son. See you in hell.
Man.
Samuel, greetings. I believe you are seeing our actor friend tonight.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I guess so. I still ain't sure I'm the right therapist for that fella.
There may not be a right therapist for him, but let us think positively. He has put himself in your care, and that is a tremendous step.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm thinking it's gonna be an uphill battle, though.
At least his core distortion is clear, don't you think? You know what it is, I am sure.
Personalization, disqualified positive. It's emotional reasoning. It's emotional reasoning. He mainly talks about himself and personalization. Yeah, he listens.
It's gotta be emotional reasoning. I ain't never seen someone so dramatic.
Certainly Edmund's thinking is derived from his intense emotions. But what spurs his emotions?
Personalization then.
It's personalization, right?
Of course, a distortion common to many with narcissistic tendencies.
Yep, it's the Edmund Keane show, all day, every day.
I recognize your disdain, but pause a moment. It must be difficult for Edmund to make everything all about him all the time, don't you think?
He doesn't have to make everything about him, though.
He doesn't know that. Keep digging, Samuel. You will find his truth.
Alright.
Choose your distortions well.
Alright. So... Should... I don't think he disqualifies his positives. I know he overgeneralizes a lot. I think he thinks in black and white. I think he talks about control a lot. I don't think he labels himself much. Emotional reasoning, he does get over dramatic, but I don't know if he puts his emotion. No, actually, emotional reasoning, maybe. That is a form of control.
I think I'm all holstered up now.
Whoa. Okay.
Very good, Samuel. I wish you patience and compassion. Good luck.
Thank you.
See you later, Andy. All right, now what did Andy teach me? Breathe. I think I'm ready. Right on time. I think I hear him coming. Hey, Edmund, good to see you. How you been feeling these past few weeks?
Empty, my dear boy. Empty. I am but a vessel made for a single purpose. But alas, and alack, that purpose is in supply most rare.
Sorry, Red the doggo.
You mean acting, right?
I'm gonna say Ebony is very much like
Aye, that's the rub. Acting, my dear boy. Acting. My thespian blood goes rancid with stagnation, and the only cure seems to me irreprehensible now.
Right.
I do not wish to face these mortal directors, for they dare to tell me my art.
Ain't that what directors are supposed to do?
Oh, my dear boy. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them. No director can thrust greatness upon the already great. In mine own case, mine greatness hath already been achieved.
Nosferatu thinking?
There is no room for improvement in Edmund at all. Is he truly perfect? I'm going to make an educated guess and say that this is untrue.
Yeah, so Nosferatu thinking was probably going to be the option.
No,
Nobody's saying
Yep.
you ain't great, Eddie. You're talking in extremes.
Never thought
If
it.
every actor's awful or perfect, what the heck's a director supposed to do?
a most unenviable position, to be sure. I have directed and did find it most odious. Indeed, a great actor can make the less talented seem even smaller.
But you get it. All the director's doing is making sure everyone's doing what they're best at, right? That ain't saying you ain't great.
I suppose, but it is most frustrating when I know best.
Well, maybe you can help me understand a little better. You said that greatness was thrust upon you, right? How did that happen?
Ah, you are curious to hear what circumstances created this actor non-pare. I cannot blame you. Well, recounting such a history will please me
What
indeed.
sounds weirder to me?
I first rattled the foundations of the stage as a mere babe. Indeed, too young for memory, and yet old enough to command attention. Clad only in swaddling cloth at the age of 4, I was Cupid himself. But my arrows seemingly went astray, for the entirety of the audience fell in love with me. It is the stuff of legend. For tender as my mind was, I could not bear witness to my own greatness. But it does prove that I was indeed born great.
This ego, man.
But you said greatness was thrust upon you.
It was a matter of necessity. You may not guess it from my gentle speech, but I am no lordling. Selfishly, and surely to spite me, my father shuffled off his mortal coil when I was but a babe in arms, ere I ever graced the stage. It left my mother and myself in dire straits.
Essentially. The babe in arms, ere I have graced the stage. Dire straits. Personalization, maybe? It's not talking about black and white. But then again, he's not. Life is not in dire straits. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to be right back. I apologize. My pupper's trying to escape again, so I'm just gonna put some music in the background. I check on what he's doing. Oh. Excuse me real quick.
I've been hurt, my boy! I have had
Okay, be right back.
enough. In the heat of battle at the edge of the unknown, somewhere in the shadows lurks an agile, deadly foe. We have the advantage, we've the numbers and the might. No, you don't understand it. This man plans for every fight. Where is he? Where is he? Keep your head down, he's aiming for the torches! Our weapons, they're missing! He's using the darkness to hide his approaches.
We're empty-handed, up against an archer. Our only chance is to strike him in the darkness.
We know these the odds can't be tilted.
You don't think I know my own palace? I built it.
Oh, king, our leader is dead. You've destroyed the serpent's head. Now the rest of us are no longer a threat. Oh, king, forgive us instead, so that no more blood
No. Damn, he's more cunning than I assumed. While we were busy plotting, he hid our weapons inside this room.
I find it hard to believe that the sharpest of kings left his armory unlocked.
So what? Now that we have armed ourselves, let's make the bastard rot.
Behind you!
Throw down those weapons, and I ensure you'll be spared.
After seeing what the king will do to us, we wouldn't dare.
I don't want to hurt you, but trust me, I've come prepared.
Your very presence is doomed the king, young prince. We don't fight fair.
Stop!
Brothers, we got company, and he's made a great mistake. Left the weapons room unlocked, and now they're ours to take. Brothers, come and arm yourselves. There's a chance for us to win. We can still defeat the king if we all attack the prince.
Where is he? Where is he?
Capture him, he's our greatest chance.
Get off me! Get off me!
Fight till the prince can barely stand.
Hold him down! Hold him down!
Make the king obey our commands.
Hold him down! Hold him down!
'Cause if he won't, I'll break the kid's hands. Got him.
Mercy.
I just stopped. Oh my god. It stopped as soon as I done.
My mercy is long since
My bad.
found. It died to bring me home.
Eh.
And as long as you're around, my family's fate is left unknown. You plotted to kill my son. You
Okay.
planned to rape my wife. All of
I'm
you
back, though.
are going to die. You filled my heart with hate. All of you who've done me wrong. This will be your fate.
I'll have to look into that later. I thought we could still play when I'm gone. I know. There's this, and then there was this, and there was this. Alright. That's fine. Okay. I might have to call it in 30 minutes or so. Right. Selfishly and surely despite me, my father shuffled off this mortal coil when I was a babe in arms. Ere I ever graced the stage, I left my mother and myself in dire straits. Personalization, maybe.
Hold on a sec. You said your old man died selfishly. Well, what do you mean?
Well, what kind of a father drinks himself to death when he has a beautiful baby son at home? I at least waited until my son was older before I did the same.
Eddie, come on. Listen to yourself. I'm sure you didn't die to spite your son, just as your pa didn't die to spite you. I ain't gonna deny his choices hurt you, but they weren't all about you.
Forgive me then. 'Tis ever the fate of an actor to feel every emotion more keenly. The situation my mother and I were left in was most precarious. We were the lowest of the low, you see. We lived in the rookeries and begged for our bread. But he that hath wit must make content with his fortune's fit. And oh, did we beg! She was my Queen Gertrude, and I her filthy little Hamlet. Did I mention I played Hamlet at age 14?
No, I hadn't heard that.
Well, anyway, my mother was a competent actress, but it was my wit alone that saved us from destitution. Forsooth, I was so prodigious that, at the age of 7, I garnered the attention of one Reginald Flopbot of the Worthington Flopbots. 'Twas he who paid to get me off the streets and into the dormitories. He said, "Edmund, my cherub, the streets are not for you. One day you will be the greatest of actors."
Hey, how about that? You went and proved him right.
Piffle. Master Flopbot never gave a fig about my potential. I was a prop to him, a symbol of his generosity and high breeding. Every month he would stage an elaborate party with all the well-to-do society of London. The dandy fop would stand upon a dais and announce himself as the savior of the city's poor. That was my cue. I would be lowered down from the rooftop, wearing naught but swaddling clothes and a set of opulent wings. The gentry's delight was my dungeon, but I would flit among them, reprising my breakout role as Cupid by shooting little arrows of love at them. At the age of 7, it was most disquieting. At 11, on the cusp of manhood, the shame was too much to bear.
Dang, Eddie, that sounds awful. That Flopbot fella had no right to do that to you.
No, indeed. I remember my last performance quite vividly. The titters and leering glances from the guests linger ever in the back of my mind. And fool that I was, I played my part still. I should have plunged mine arrows into that fool Flopbot's chest instead of shaming myself.
Hold on a sec there. You saying you should have stood up for yourself. Where the heck does that come from? You were 11 years old. How the heck were you supposed to know any better?
I knew enough to know that being paraded around in swaddling clothes was a farce, and yet I played along. So yes, I should have done something about it.
And then what would have happened?
I don't know, but I would have been spared the indignity that I participated in.
You didn't have those answers then, and ain't nobody would expect you to. That's kind of how exploitation works, Eddie.
Indeed, the word exploit was not even in the standard lexicon at that point. How could I have known? Regardless, I swore that night to never be a puppet again. I stole away and gave myself to the mercy of Poseidon. The bargain was struck, and he swallowed up my hated swaddling clothes and wings. In desperation, I signed on with a mercantile shipping agency. I thought perhaps that my body would bend more than my soul. But oh, did I toil! Life upon the sea is most cruel. Biting winds did carve my visage. Low words hardened my heart, and heavy weights left me bent. By the time I had fulfilled my bargain with the Lord of the Sea, I had become an older man, my efforts etched into every crease on my face.
Oh my God.
Dang, sounds intense. How long were you at this job?
A week.
An age, a life. 6 months, each one a hungry leech torn from my bleeding body. I am convinced this gauntlet was prepared for me alone, for ne'er in history has one so blessed by grace been subjected to such toil.
That is talking about personalization.
Eddie, I gotta stop you there. It's gonna be a lot easier to accept your truth when you realize you ain't alone in your suffering. Hell, there ain't nothing more human than suffering, and historically, kids ain't had it so good.
But none suffered as I suffered. A boy such as I was not meant for such misery.
Compadre, I had my first kill and no home at 12 years old. My brother had a stutter his whole life on account of the regular beatings my stepdaddy gave him. Maybe your suffering felt like the only suffering in the world, but it wasn't. And it'll hurt less when you realize you weren't alone. But keep telling me your story. I already know there ain't nobody like you in the world, so don't worry on that account.
Now then, at last, we close the circle, as nature ever demands. I return to London, and into the graces of my dear Uncle Moses and his comely mistress, Charlotte. 'Twas she who filled my dramaturgical quiver with dire arrows, fletched by the bard himself. And when my deft fingers plucked the bow of humanity, at last I was free.
Huh?
I cannot speak more plainly. The good woman taught me the works of Shakespeare, and armed with this knowledge, I conquered the stage and saved myself from toil.
Oh, well, right.
And so, you see, the die was cast from the moment I was born. The stage was made for me, and it was my skill upon it that saved me from the streets, and saved me once again from a life at sea.
Nosferatu.
You're talking like fate itself is playing with you, Eddie. Like you were helpless to do anything but act. You're a clever fella, ain't you? Maybe acting was the trick you knew you had up your sleeve, but betting everything on the stage puts the pressure on like nothing else.
I had not considered this. Perhaps 'twas not the fates. I do not give myself enough credit. 'Twas my will that brought me to greatness. The stage roused my spirit. Thus I knew my destiny lay upon it.
You got it, amigo. You wanted the stage to be your ticket out of the bad days. Maybe that's why you were so successful. Your intrinsic motivation made you keep pushing to be better.
'Tis so. 'Tis so. The threat of the rookeries loomed ever upon my overladen spirit. Acting presented itself as a way to keep myself out of them. It is natural that I should weigh its importance so heavily.
I can see why acting means so much to you, Eddie. I probably feel damn near the same about the things that got me out of my bad days.
Thank you. Then you understand how my alienation from the theater does pain me so. And yet, the cure is as deadly as the illness. These damnable critics, not a single lifetime among them, and they deign to challenge my interpretation of the written word. They simply cannot relate to my singular experience. I will bare my soul upon that stage, and they will all sneer and malign it on their internet profiles.
Overgeneralization? Because it's talking about they will all sneer. They're all doing it at once. It does feel like a personalization thing too, because you're saying that you're the only one experiencing the thing. Maybe it's more personalization.
For someone that lives for adulation, Edmund has a dim view of his fans, don't you think?
They simply...
You're so certain that damn critics are all the same. But I think that ain't being honest with yourself. Not all critics are bad. It takes work to be good at something, so of course the decent critics are gonna be rarer.
What you say rings true. Indeed, although past critics were flabbergasted at my portrayal of King Lear, not all were. And modern perspectives have affirmed that my interpretation was nothing short of brilliant.
Yeah, you get it. I took a look at your Wikipedia entry last night, Eddie. Well, maybe you've had a few bad critics here and there, but history says you're a legend, and your work speaks for itself.
I'm the one that
You were around before film was ever a thing, and people still remember you.
Ah, your words warm me, as an ersatz son for the one we have forsaken. With thy help shall I gird my soul mayhap, and grace the stage once more.
Well, let's talk about that then. What's the biggest thing stopping you from getting back up on that stage right now?
That it all simply might not be worth it. Why should I bear my damned soul when the audience hath not the sight to see it?
Maybe I can ask you a question then. What if there were no audience?
No audience? Do you know what a stage is, sir? It is a platform where life in brief may be portrayed. It is a platform because it is separate from the audience. Without such, the stage ceases to be a stage.
As in, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Simply but elegantly put, my dear boy. Without the audience, the stage loses all meaning, like a monarch without a kingdom.
That is Nosferatu thinking, because it's the thing, basically, that without it, nothing else exists.
Just a minute there, partner. You're saying that the stage is nothing without the audience. But I gotta ask you, where does the acting come from?
Ah, but from simple tongues, the purest of queries, narrow in breadth, but as deep as the sea. The source of acting is everything, my boy. The beating of every heart, the cry of every child, the fluttering of a butterfly's wings. The roots of acting are intertwined with those of life itself.
So does acting come from the audience or from everything?
My dear boy, you prove yet again, as the bard oft did, that 'tis the fool who sees the truth as it is. I bow to your simple wisdom.
Thanks, I guess. Let's figure out how we can bring it back to acting. Forget the audience. I know we can't see in mirrors and all, but what do you think of filming yourself?
Oh my god.
Brilliant notion. Yes, I shall become my own audience. I shall bring myself to rapture. Forsooth, if I cannot pleasure myself, whom can I pleasure?
We're still talking about acting, right?
Yep.
Oh, my dear boy, the pleasures of the flesh are secondary to one who knows character above all else. Indeed, we speak of the noble art. I shall do as you suggest. If there is one on this lonely orb that can inspire an artist such as I, it is myself.
I ain't sure I'd put it exactly that way, but I think you're touching on the thing we've been talking about. The motivation's got to come from you, amigo.
Okay.
We are of one mind, dear boy. Perhaps I left my muse in the mortal realm, but I shall find him once more. Not only for myself, but also for my public.
Nice.
Yea, the masses flock to my Wikipedia page as moths to a flame, each a silent plea for the return of the one true artisan of the stage.
Now hold your horses there, fella. You're reading a little too much into the whole Wikipedia thing. There's 1.5 million reasons why people might be looking you up.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear tell the biggest Wikipedia page out there is the one for that coronavirus that got all them mortals all worked up. And I'm pretty sure they don't want that coming back.
And thus dost thou scuttle a burgeoning friendship with the cannons of enmity. Why must you challenge me so?
That's my job, compadre. Ain't we had some good breakthroughs today? We couldn't have gotten there if I'd been busy agreeing with everything you said.
Oh, very well. But I still say you are most vexatious.
I've been called worse. I think we got some homework for you, though, right? You're gonna film yourself and do some acting for its own sake. We'll check back in a few weeks. But Eddie, I think you're doing great. We made a lot of progress today.
Naturally. The human condition is my oeuvre. Nevertheless, you have been a competent guide. You have reminded me of what is most important in unlife. Me. I should like to give you a gift.
Ego.
Oh, come on. You don't need to do nothing like that.
Nonsense. It is meaningless to me, but it is beyond price for you. It is my headshot, signed with my autograph.
Of course.
Thanks, Eddie.
Cherish it always. If you help me to find my muse, then it is a gift even more precious. And I will find it ere we next meet. Of that, I promise you.
Well, let's not put the pressure on, amigo. Just enjoy some acting. That's all I'm asking for. I'll see you in a few weeks then, okay?
Verily, so it shall be. Godspeed then, boy. Thou shalt witness me new and on. Farewell.
A job well done, Samuel. I was particularly impressed at the way you challenged Edmund on what acting means to him.
Yeah, he's a weird fella, but I think he's gonna do okay.
It can be hard for our kind to retain our intrinsic motivation. Something must keep him going. I do hope that he will find his. But you, Samuel, must rest. The work you have done in these past 2 months deserves to be celebrated, so do not linger here in this dusty room. Perhaps you can even be encouraged to dance.
I think I'm gonna need a lot more therapy myself to get to that point.
Very well, Samuel. Then let us at least make sure you get well nourished. Find a friendly neck downstairs, my friend. You deserve it. And rest in peace.
Well, they say don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys, but maybe don't let them be actors either. Well, time to dish with Crimson a little. I gotta talk to some more folks, though. Andy's mainly my teacher, so I'm starting to feel like Crimson's my only friend. Hey, only friend.
Excuse me?
What? Oh, yeah, Crimson. Hey, Crimson.
Are you blushing, vampire?
No, that ain't possible.
It's all right. It's nice to hear from a vampire who's younger than Jesus. Now, let's hear how this week went before you go out there and find friend number 2.
All right, real quick. This client of mine, he had a real bad time as a kid. Worse than I did, it sounds like. But he found fame early, and now he's talking about fate and how he's destined for greatness again.
Met plenty of destined for greatness folk in D.C. I lost patience for it. How do you think you handled him?
Pretty well.
I learned my lessons from the last session. He didn't threaten to jump off a cliff this time or anything.
I didn't have
I
to
gave
use
him
my
an
horse
assignment
technique.
to film himself doing something he loves doing. He seemed excited about that.
You're either brave or adorable, Sam Walls.
There's nothing brave about it. As for adorable, well, some have used words to that effect before.
Okay, now I know you're confident enough to get out there. Giddy up.
Here we go. Right to the edge of the dance floor, but not on it. Don't want anyone getting any funny ideas.
Once more alone, I see.
You scared the shit out of me.
But you can't shit. You're a vampire. Know that I see much, vampire, and that I like what I see.
Oh, it's her again. Well, I was hoping to find a mortal friend, or at least a willing Nick. Now, what do mortals of this time talk about?
Beehawk. You know what? You always have to go to the tried and true whenever you're being awkward. Talk about their weather.
Cold this week, ain't it?
But you're always cold, because you are dead.
You're right.
That's right. I'm dead. I'm a dead man, as I like to say.
I see.
You see a lot, don't you?
Why don't you tell me what you see?
I see an interesting mortal. Someone observant. Someone who isn't afraid to have their own style.
That is what you observe. It is not what you see.
Well, fine. You tell me what I see.
You see the long vein across my throat. It looks very juicy, doesn't it?
Well, now that you mention it, it does.
Then consent is given. Do not hesitate, vampire.
Yeah.
Shucks, that was something else. You got good circulation there.
I see. And what do I taste like?
Kind of earthy. You could use some iron. What do you eat most often?
I eat a lot of carrots. They're supposed to be good for one's eyesight, and I like to see. I see now that you are tired and wish to enter your state of torpor.
Well, maybe I'll see myself out then.
That's offensive.
Very good.
I'm going to leave now.
Shoot, was it something I said? Well, at least I got a full belly. And now, time for some shut-eye.
Loving the puns, loving the puns.
Good evening, Samuel. I believe you are seeing the Ancient One tonight, aren't you?
Ancient One? She's 1,200 years younger than you, Andy.
I suppose I was engaging in a bit of labeling myself. You are, of course, correct. Still, her age presents a unique challenge. After one lives for 1,000 years, history seems less a line than a fixed point. Speaking of which, I imagine you can guess what distortion an old one such as Mehdi might fixate upon.
Nosferatu's thinking, black and white, overgeneralization. Not about should statements, it's Nosferatu.
It's Nosferatu thinking. Mehdi's seen so much history that mortal can only be one way or another.
Excuse me. Sorry.
You are not incorrect. She does indeed paint the world with a very old, broad brush, but her true distortion is more specific.
Okay.
It's gotta be overgeneralization. She really is basing all her opinions on her experiences when she was alive.
Very good, Samuel. I heard tales of her island in my time, but they were never peaceful tales. I am not surprised she finds safety in her narrative. What other distortions do you think Mehdi might exhibit?
Okay, so she overgeneralizes things. I believe emotional reasoning would be one of them. She seems at times that would disqualify her own positives. Personalization? Things are all about her. Maybe more control than anything. Overgeneralization is a form of Nosferatu thinking, qualifying from most reasoning it. I'll go for
Good to go, boss.
Then I will leave you to it. Good luck, my friend.
Here she comes.
Hello again, strange cowboy man.
Okay.
It's good to see you again, Mehdi. How's the past month been for you?
I went for a walk, just like you suggested. Didn't like it very much.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. What was so unpleasant about it?
It's very loud outside, and dirty, and smelly. Everywhere I walked, it smelled like mortal food, which is disgusting.
Yeah.
They knew how good it felt to drink blood. Maybe they would not eat so much of this pizza food. There's so many cars, too. I don't like cars. They have hateful faces. They look so angry all the time. I stepped in a wee, killed 7 men, and got splashed by a bus. It's really quite awful.
Oh my god. What kind of walk did she have?
You killed 7 men? How the heck did that happen?
Oh, that was inconvenient, you know. Normally I have my zealots do that kind of thing for me. They take care of the bodies. But I had to do all that silly work myself, and now there are always police sirens going off, which interrupts my streams and makes my followers very sad.
Why did that all happen?
Because they found the bodies everywhere, silly. I don't know what to do with my rubbish.
I meant, why the killing? You didn't happen to make a few assumptions based on past experiences? Why kill a bunch of men?
Oh, well, they looked at me. I know what mortals who look at me are like. If I let them live, they'd probably try to burn me as a witch. I could do nothing but kill them.
No mortals would look at me. Let them live. Personalization? No.
She knows what all mortals are like.
Yeah.
I hope she remembers that we were all once mortal ourselves.
Overgeneralization, yeah. Okay.
Hold on a sec. You know what mortals who look at you are like. How do you know? Are you reading their minds?
I don't have to read their minds, sweetling. I have known manlings for a very long time.
I get what you're saying. But here in this room, at least, we gotta be honest with ourselves. Do you really know what they were thinking?
Silly mouseling. I do not need to know what a wolf is thinking to know what a wolf is.
Does that mean every wolf you see is gonna try to eat you?
We don't have wolves anymore. They're all gone now.
So maybe you can see where that kind of thinking can be a problem. It was scared people who killed all them wolves, right? Now I know that thinking doesn't come from nowhere. Old as you are, I'm sure you've seen some real awful stuff.
That's right. Haven't killed you, though. You are kind, little mouse.
Well, let's lay off the mouse stuff a little.
I'm sorry. I don't wish for you to scurry away into a little hole. Do you want to hear why I feel the way I do?
I would appreciate it greatly, miss.
Let me tell you about men from my time, then. Let's start with me, Da. My father sold me and my mother to a chief of a rival clan for a golden necklace.
That is just horrifying.
Oh, don't fuss, sweetling. It was the most beautiful golden necklace. At least 2 girls' worth. My father got quite a deal, really.
You're using humor, but I'm sure that must have been heartbreaking for you.
It was coming at the time. I suppose I should have been glad to be the possession of an old chief. I knew girls who did as they were told. They would have been thrilled to have been the concubine of a powerful chief. But, oh, he was so old. Cormac O'Neill, the oldest man I had ever seen. I remember thinking, where is his face? Because I could not see it under all his disgusting wrinkles.
How old was the guy?
38.
Oh, God.
That was pretty old in your time, huh? Wish I'd died at 38. Could have been a better looking corpse.
Well, he left an awful looking corpse. His face was all...
I'm guessing you had something to do with that, huh?
Not me. My boyfriend, Abertach. He told me he'd set me free. I suppose he did. He created a delightful poison for me. He said it would make my dear master die in excruciating pain. So, one night I lay with him, and that means I did sex, and when he was pleased, I fed him the poison mead. Abby did what I couldn't, and the old fool finally died.
We did what I couldn't. The fool fed him the poisoned mead. Abby did what I couldn't. Old fool finally died. Disqualifying the positive because she's not giving herself enough credit. Because she's not talking about her emotions. She's talking about how he felt. Personalization. This is not an experience that. She's not talking about how her experience defining other things that are occurring. So I think it's emotional reasoning.
It sounds as though Medi did her fair share in freeing herself from captivity. It must have been terrifying for her.
But disqualifying the positives, maybe?
So,
you're saying your boyfriend killed your husband, but it sounds to me like you did the real work. He mixed up some herbs, sure, but you were the one that had to sleep with the old man and get the poison in him.
Abby made sure I knew it was because of him that I was free. He said it could never have happened without him.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
He didn't have to be brave to mix up a potion. I think the bravery was all you, Medi. don't disqualify the idea that the person who set you free was you.
Yeah.
You know, I think you're absolutely right, strange cowboy man. I did do all the work. But Abby never let me forget that he was the one who freed me. He wanted me to worship him.
A fella who demands to be worshipped is always going to be a dangerous man.
Yeah.
Dangerous men have always been drawn to me. Must be something about the way I am.
Personalization.
Now, don't go blaming yourself for bad men being bad. I'm sure you'd rather be left alone.
Well, that's what I thought, but it seems I am a temptress. That's what the churchmen say.
Look, you deserve to be yourself. If people are giving you the wrong kind of attention, that ain't your fault. It's theirs. Heck, I think they should be in the chair you're sitting in right now.
Probably try to sniff it. Repellent little blood bags. No kink shaming, of course.
So what happened after you killed Cormac?
The Neil clan came after me and Abby. They found him, took their swords and went, stab, stab, stabby, stabby, stab, stab, stab. But Abby just laughed. That's how I found out he was undead already. Gave me the willies. When they couldn't kill Abby, they decided to kill me instead. And that made him very upset indeed, because I belonged to him.
That must have been terrifying.
I suppose. Mostly hurt. Lots and lots. Getting stabbed is much fun when you're immortal.
I ain't too fond of it as a vampire neither.
Abby fed me his blood, though, and then I became like him. When I woke up, the Neil clan who tried to kill us were all properly dead. Well, almost dead. They still had a lot of blood left, and I was hungry. The Neil clan was ever so cross, though. They captured Abby and sealed him in a tomb with some forgotten spells. He's still there, as far as I know.
What happened to you?
I didn't have a future with my tribe. I insulted both my clan and Cormac's clan by killing their chief. My only choice was to be alone. That's the wisest choice.
That is overgeneralizing. Yeah, no.
Mary seems to think in extremes, not uncommon for one as ancient as she is. She had more power in her situation than she can admit.
I didn't have a future with my tribe. I insulted both my clan and Cormac's clan by killing their chief.
I should have given it
My
away.
only choice was to be alone.
I reckon you've always had more power than you think. I mean, being immortal's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
Heck, you were savvy enough to get out of that whole situation with Cormac. I think you always had options, Medi.
You are kind to say so. I guess maybe it's better to say there was only one choice I wanted to take.
Then I think that was the right choice to make.
If you didn't have all those whiskers, I would pinch those cheeks.
Okay, time to stop teasing poor Sam. So you've been living alone ever since then? Well, let's focus on you, huh? You say you've been living alone ever since then?
Of course, my silly cowboy man.
Twice.
We aren't mortal anymore. We will always end up alone. Why waste my time?
Overgeneralizing.
Again, Medi deals in extremes. Long life often makes one's interpretation of life stark.
Of course, my silly cowboy man. We aren't mortal anymore. We will always end up alone. Why waste my time?
Come on, Medi. You're distorting a lot of reality there. All vampires ain't lonely. Some of us choose to be, but not all of us. Sure, mortals have a habit of dying, but there will always be more of them. Not to mention all the vampires out there. Heck, I used to be in a vampire gang. Cult. Well, kind of both. They weren't good company, but they certainly weren't lonely. I mean, ain't we talking? Well, there's loads of vampires out there who think like you do, and they're fulfilling their own prophecies of loneliness.
You're being a mean little mouse now, and I don't like it very much. Maybe I should have killed you after all.
I'm trying to help you, Medi. The world's changed a lot in the last 1800 years. A lot of it bad, but a lot of it good too. By and large, most people ain't burning witches and selling their daughters. That sort of thing's frowned upon by mortals these days. There are laws out there to protect folks now. It ain't like in old times.
May I tell you a story, little mouse?
All right, tell me a story.
Once upon a time, there was a very pretty young lady. Pretty, but also crazy. Like me.
Labeling herself as crazy.
The pretty young lady Mary had moved in with her cousin, Mrs. Haltridge. At first, they got along quite well. But one day, Mary started acting naughty. She would shout, act unladylike, and even say that Jesus Christ wasn't very special. Mrs. Haltridge liked Jesus Christ very much and wanted Mary to like him too. When she didn't, this embarrassed Mrs. Haltridge.
Abused.
She began to think something was wrong with Mary. After all, who didn't like Jesus Christ? Mrs. Haltridge said that Mary had begun to vomit up pins and buttons, nails, glass, and bits of wool. Instead of being grateful for the free gifts Mary was vomiting up, Mrs. Haltridge said that she had been attacked by 8 witches in spectral form. Now, it just so happened that all 8 of those witches lived very close to the town where Mrs. Haltridge lived. Despite their magical prowess, the 8 witches were captured and put into the stocks, and all the people of the town were told that the women did not like Jesus Christ at all. So the Jesus Christ-liking people threw rotten vegetables and poo at the witches. And, just for fun, they gouged out the eye of one of them.
Yeesh.
Then they kicked the witches out of town and lived happily ever after. The end.
Yeah, people could be cruel, especially with their beliefs, if they don't want to listen
That ain't
and
a
understand
pleasant
somebody else.
story.
Oh, it was very unpleasant. It hurts very much to have your eye taken away, but I like my new eye. It's fun. I was 1500 summers old or so when that happened. The world hadn't changed much then. I don't think it's changed much now.
I'm sorry that happened to you, Meddy. You're right. Folk can be pretty awful when they get riled up. That ain't changed.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be sorry, little mouse. I like my new eye. Also, the story has a happy ending.
Oh yeah? What's that?
After I had my eye taken away, I took Mrs. Haltridge's parts away too, one by one until she died. It was so much fun.
That's a little morbid, Meddy.
Morbid Mary? Oh, I like that. That's very clever, little mouse. But you see why I'm careful now?
Yeah, I get it. But look, there's one thing that's different now, and that's...
The UN exists, what we're doing right now. Liberal. What we're doing right now.
It's what we're doing right now. In all that time up till now, therapy ain't never existed. We only just started looking at ourselves and the way we think.
The UN is important, but at the end of the day, UN doesn't focus on the individual. Liberal democracy is, in my perspective, very helpful in regards to understanding and empathy. So it could be taken down an extreme path as well. We can't really say it's that. It's more individualized.
Before recent times, we only looked at gods, government, and society. The self is a new frontier, and we're learning stuff we never considered before. The frontier can be kind of scary, but being on that frontier means moving forward. Come with me.
Silly mouse. If something feels scary, that means that there must be something to be scared of.
Remorse is there. Yeah, it might be true that sensing something scary means there's actually something scary out there. But that don't make it necessarily so. If fear keeps us from exploring, we can't experience new things, good or bad.
Suppose that's true. But good things are temporary. Bad things can last forever. Would you like to hold my eye?
Oh, that's all right. You keep it. I get what you're saying, Meddy. I ain't saying not to be careful. Just acknowledge that a feeling doesn't make reality.
Yep.
I know you've been through a lot and you got damn good reasons for being careful. But there's a reason you came to me, right?
Yes, but it wasn't because I wanted to go outside. It's because of my fans. They're very demanding.
Right. That's why we were talking about your going for walks and went down this rabbit hole.
Or, in your case, a mouse hole.
Anyway, therapy usually ain't about just one thing. It's about lots of things. If the problem is your fans, we gotta imagine unlife without them, right?
Don't want to lose them all. Some of them are gentle. They're too weak to hurt anyone, which is why they don't.
Overgeneralizing.
You really think weak people would hurt others if they were stronger?
Little mouse, I've been alive for a long time. I believe what my eye shows me. Yes, if one is capable of hurting another, they do.
They can, but they don't always. You ever seen them capybara animals? They're dang massive rodents and could do some damage if they wanted to, I reckon.
Oh, yes! Oh, they're very cute. People like to share animated pictures of them in my community.
Some folk are like that. They just want to sit around and have someone scratch their bellies.
Is that what you want, little mouse? Do you want me to scratch your belly?
What? No, I'm just saying, don't assume everyone's out to hurt someone. Yeah, it happens. Of course it does. But that kind of thinking ain't giving folks their fair shot.
Don't know what I'll do if I don't have my followers. I can't live the way I used to before the machines took over. Oh, they expect so much of me now. They send me messages all night and all day. They need content. God, if I
They
don't
need to
give
be
them their content,
content.
they'll all leave. Their attention spans are like those of little bugs, but they're not as cute.
Okay, I think we need to talk about moderation.
Oh, I already have moderators, silly mouse. Any major content creator has to have them.
I
sense.
don't know what that stuff means. I'm talking about
That's why I don't have
moderation
any.
in your
Let's
thinking. What if you gave your fans only what you felt comfortable giving?
That's the important part.
Doesn't matter what I want, silly mouse. They just want me to overreact to video games.
Troll.
Again, Medi seems to view her followers as cattle. Are all mortals so docile?
Doesn't matter what I want, silly mouse. They just want me to overreact to video games.
Mitty, you're thinking that mortals want only one type of content is forcing you to make only one type of content. Your assumptions are keeping you from doing things you like, and you deserve to do things you actually enjoy.
Yeah,
You're very kind. I thought cowboys were supposed to be tough.
Who says I ain't? I just don't have nothing to prove no more. Here, why don't we try something new for next time, since going out didn't go so well last time.
Alright.
I want to challenge you to take a day off. Don't answer any messages, don't post no content. Just do something for you and you alone. Take a sick day.
But we never get sick. We're dead people.
They don't know
See
that,
dead
do
people.
they? One day. That's all I'm asking for. You need to give yourself a little space.
Very well. Since you've been a very kind mouse, I'll do it for you.
I'd prefer it if you did it for you, but we'll work toward that, huh?
Oh, I wish I had a big piece of cheese to give to you right now.
A lactose intolerance is kind of a side effect of death, but I appreciate the sentiment. I'll see you in a month then, okay?
Excellent.
Yes.
Great. I'll see you then.
Bye.
You are doing well, my friend. I know we old ones can be rather inscrutable sometimes.
She's human. We all are, ain't we? The way I see it, we all got the same problems one way or another.
Your wisdom never fails to impress, Samuel. I believe it is time for you to follow your own advice to Miss Medi, however. All work and no play makes for a dull vampire, as they say.
Yeah, you're probably right. I might hit the hay early and do a bit of reading.
If you must take out some aggression on Hay, then please do so. I shall see you soon, my friend. Rest in peace.
Good night, Andy.
Alright. That means I'm gonna unlock a few more. I guess for next time. I'm probably gonna have to call it after this.
Dang, I wonder how I'll feel about humanity when I'm 1800. Heck, I wonder whether there'll even be a planet. I guess it's time to drown my existential woes in blood. Howdy there, Crimson.
You're sounding a little weary there, cowboy. You getting enough to drink these nights?
Oh, yeah, that ain't it. Just existential ponderings.
That's just my specialty. What's eating you, buckaroo?
It's this old client I got. She's been watching humanity hurting itself for 1,800 years. Every time she expected better, she got hurt. She ain't wrong to mistrust mortals.
That's a tough one. What do you do with someone like that?
Well, I tried to guide her to look inward like I do with everyone. People are people, but so is she.
How do you think she took it?
I mean, based on her response,
on her. I can't answer for all humanity, but maybe she can get answers from herself.
I think you could stand to listen to yourself, Ranchero. You could have been a mean old Dracula, and nobody would expect anything different from you. Reckon there have always been people like you, no matter how bad it's been in history.
Dang, Crimson. I can see why Andy respects you so much. You done some living, sounds like.
Death at the door can put things into perspective. I get where your client is coming from. Changing the world isn't gonna happen, but we can at least change ourselves.
I don't think that's true. The country I left definitely ain't the country I was born in.
The wheels turn a little slowly for us mortals, cowboy. Back in DC, I was trying to push policy to do something about our poverty problem, but the kind gentlemen across the street were pretty happy to make things worse. When I got my cancer diagnosis, that was my wake-up call to stop getting disappointed and start living with the little amount of time I had left.
Working at a bar is more rewarding than being a member of the bar, huh?
Not bad, cowboy. It's got its charms. Here, I whipped up something special for you.
That ain't half bad. Got a refreshing taste.
Rose hips. Just a little something extra. Been experimenting with some herbals for Andy.
Guess old dogs like us can still learn new tricks. Thanks, Crimson. I think I'll hit the hay now.
You hit that hay, Desperado. I'll see you later.
Got a lot on my mind tonight. I think I need some rest. Now, what should I do to relax?
Watch a man get his butt burned with hot iron. Within the day with Emerson. It would be interesting, but I mean, if he had a lot of things to do.
I think sleep's what I need right now. That's enough for one night. Time to visit Dreamland. Maybe I'll see my princess there.
Alright. An interesting story. I didn't really do that.
Samuel, my dear, I do look forward to our chats. How are you feeling tonight?
Oh, we're gonna unlock more things. Alright. I'll put that there. And then exit the game. This is a really interesting game overall. And I am enjoying it. Understanding the different aspects about, I guess, humanity in the real world. What could happen to a vampire, the hardships that they deal with, and the realizations that they exist through. Since they are more inclined to deal with trauma, but deal with trauma and see the worst aspects of people, it's really, really disheartening for one to really see the good in life. Because yeah, sometimes it gets really, really hard, but that is why, like they're saying, you gotta live for ourselves, and eventually if we keep our head held high, letting ourselves feel down every so often, of course, but we have our heads held high and just try to focus on what we want, eventually we'll find the people that are like-minded and find the happiness that we're looking for. It is not consistent happiness, but at least peace. And maybe peace is a better word, not happiness, because happiness is expecting you to always be smiling, but it's more so a peace where even if you don't really feel that much emotions, at least you're not feeling worse off. But anyways, with everything said, I would like to say thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you very much for going through this journey with me so far. Hopefully I'll be able to stream tomorrow, maybe Sunday. We'll see how things go. I do have to, well, not that I have to, again, no shit statements, I'm hoping to be able to do this more often because, yeah, today felt different. It felt more relaxing and more at peace. Maybe it's because I finished reading the book that I like, but I'll talk about that another time. If it's ever something that's interesting to mention. Anyways, to those that are going to bed, I wish you a restful sleep. Your dream takes you to a realm like in Ori's. Not one on fire, but one of tranquility, beauty, elegance, you know. And if you're going through your day, I really do hope that you have an amazing day and you're able to accomplish whatever it is that you want to, or that you're able to just find peace of mind either on your own or with people that you care about. Because although it's maybe overgeneralizing or being what's called helplessly optimistic, I do think that everyone deserves happiness or to be joyful or to find, I guess, that happiness. Man. Anyways, again, have a great night and have an amazing day. Love to all.